Hi everyone. Maybe don't listen to this one if you feel like it's not appropriate to make fun of people who may be getting ready to depart this earth, not of their choice. Maybe don't listen to this episode. Um, I just want to get this out and record this, and it's probably going to come across as, I don't know, inappropriate or cringy or whatever, but like, I really need to say this and I don't care. So if I lose anybody, I'm so sorry. Don't listen. If you think you might not like what you're about to hear. So basically, in case this is like one of your first few episodes or something and you don't know who the hell I'm talking about, there's this dude. What name shall we give him? Um, we'll just assign whatever comes to mind. And he is my wife's stepfather, if you want to call him that. And he has been married to my wife's mother for many a year. I met this dude so many years ago. And it was when Alicia and I first started seeing each other. Oh my God, what was this, 2011 or 12 or something like that? And I got invited over for like Thanksgiving, but it was like it had to have been in like December or January because they never celebrate holidays the months that they're supposed to be celebrated. They always like celebrate them later, which is weird, but I guess that's what happens when you have kids who have other kids with like different babies, parents and stuff. I don't know. So you had to wait till you got all the kids together for the holidays. And then like the holiday was whenever it was. Does that make sense? There's so many kids on her side of the family. But anyways, so went there for their Thanksgiving celebration. I sat down across from that dude, instantly felt ick, gross. Did not want to be there, was like this black cloud of fucking doom. And I was like, how is this one motherfucker like just suck the life out of a room? And so this guy is like, oh, I don't know, 5'3" maybe. No, he's a little bit taller than that. Let's say 5'5", and rail thin, like you could blow, like it could be like really windy one day, poof, he'll like snap in half. Like I don't know how this dude can contain all the evil he does. And over the years, like just different things have happened. He's found himself like in different situations where he escapes unscathed. And there's situations where you probably should have lost your life. Like there was a rollover. He had like an actual like he rolled over in the car. What, like a month ago now? And the motherfucker walked away unscathed. Nothing. No cuts, no bruises. As if like he was never in like a massive like accident. And anyways, he's not a nice man. He is just the personification of evil. Like I have stories for years about this motherfucker that I do not want to get into right now. I can't stand him. And um throughout my life, like I've encountered humans, not like I'm not talking about like your run of the mill bully or anything like that, just like really evil beings, like not good people. And I tried to like, figure out, well, like, what's your purpose? Why are you here? What's the point of you if all you do is just create shit for other people? Like, you don't bring good to anybody's life. Like, that's just the truth. And I can't figure out, like, what is the point of these people? So, anyways, he's one of those. And it's just something that I don't think I'll ever be able to understand. Like, how can a body contain so much grossness inside it that it doesn't just die like right away? How can you live to be so old and so gross? Just so evil and mean and cruel. Anyways, I can't stand this dude. I've said maybe a total of like two sentences to him the entire time I've known him. I've gone out of my way to like avoid having to run into this dude when I would go down there with my wife over the years to visit the kids and stuff. Like God, I hate this guy. And I really feel like, Alicia's mom made her choice. Like you know who you're with. Like, this is not a good person. And her mom's not like that great either. But, anyways, I'm getting too far away from the point. The point is, finally, this motherfucker might be dying. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this episode before he actually dies. So I can't be accused of speaking ill of the dead, even though I'm getting ready to about somebody else that was kind of considered a family member. But first, him. So we find out that last week he ends up in the hospital with pneumonia. And I was like, oh my God, finally. And like, this sounds terrible, I know, but like, this is just really how I feel. It's how I feel. It's how, like, probably Alicia's mom feels. It's how the girls, Bella and like Madeline, feel. Like, we thought, okay, this could be the time that we can say goodbye forever because like you are just not a good person, not a good person. And a few days goes by, and yesterday we find out that he got sent home after being in the hospital, and there wasn't like a whole lot of like other information to add. So I'm thinking like, God damn it, this motherfucker is surviving pneumonia? Like, really? And I know this does sound horrible, like I'm wishing for his death, but like he's not a good person. He's a main reason why it's just really, really toxic down there. And so Madeline texts me. She's like, "Hey, do you have time to do FaceTime?" Because she wanted to show me like some craft stuff that she made. And I'm like, "Oh, sure." So we do FaceTime. And the first thing I see is both of the girls. They have huge smiles on their faces. And they proceed to tell me that the old evil motherfucker is, yes, he is home. However, he can barely walk. He's throwing up, not doing too great. And Alicia's mom called hospice. And so that's a whole situation that's going on down there now is it doesn't look like he's really like got much longer to live for real for real. And like I got a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old that like their smiles could not be whiter. They were giggling. I was like, this has got to be some sick shit that isn't quite normal, but it totally feels normal to me that they're excited about this. Like, isn't this weird to like say and like describe? It's like these kids are excited about this old man's death. That sounds like it's imminent. Um, because he really is that terrible of a person. Have I met anybody in my life that is as bad as he is? No, I don't think so. Not in my life personally, no. Like fuck man, I'm like my da 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 sorry. My mom wasn't even that bad. Like not even half as evil as like this motherfucker has been. And so the day might be coming, and who knows? I could record this and like it's 5 more years before it actually happens, but I don't know. The tide seems to be turning. So, I just wanted to get on here and say that like I understand how this sounds, and I don't care. What's the point of people like this? For real. Like, because people's lives can change in positive ways just by their mere existence and having had like bad encounters with him or something like that. Like, what the fuck is the point of people like this? So, and and another thing that bothers me is like nothing, like no phone call from that place has ever like yielded any positive results. Like nothing positive comes out of that place. It's just like this dark farm area where evil exists, and the evil might get squashed out pretty soon, and then what's going to happen? Like what, like it's just very strange. Like I was just telling Alicia, like I can't recall any times that anything positive has ever come out of that place. Like whenever we get a phone call or something, it's always some fucked up weird crazy mean shit that's happening. And I don't like how that makes me feel. Like, it's enough that we are already living in a society in this country that is just like this now. Like all the time, every day, it seems like. And now you have to add in all of the different variations of it in other people's lives. And I'm just so fucking sick of the negativity. But yeah, here I am, just not really giving a crap that somebody sounds like they're about to keel over. And good fucking riddance to that dude. Good riddance. Um, there's this I talked before just uh sorry, you might have heard this story before because I know I've talked about my grandpa. Um, I would not consider to be an evil person, so I'm not putting him in the same like realm of like this one that I was just talking about. But my grandpa, like, I got out of the military and um my parents were living in the same building with him. It was like a 4 unit apartment building. My parents were upstairs, he was downstairs. There's this nice older lady that lived across the way from my grandpa, and there was like some dude that, he might as well have been a ghost. We barely saw him, and he lived up at the top next to my parents. Um, and my grandpa was very old school. Women should cook, women should do the dishes and the cleaning, and like not really have opinions. And I never really liked the guy because of that and his shitty attitude. Um, so I wouldn't say he was evil. I would just say he was extremely unpleasant to be around. And not to mention he was my mom's stepdad, so not even like blood related. It just he was a total fucking dick, pretty much, just a dick. And it never ceased to amaze me how she would bend over backward for that dude. Like, she felt like it was her responsibility to cook meals for him every night, like do the dishes. Like, it was this weird fucking shit that, like, who are you? Like, why does this version of you exist? This dude's a prick. Like, you want to have meals with him? You want to pretend like he's nice? Like, I don't understand. Why? Because he was married to your mom who died years ago? Like, like, I don't understand what this weird relationship you is that you have with him. It was very strange. She roped the rest of us in, and it would just be like awkward as fuck. And this was like back when I was in my like early 20s, and I just, I was still a kid. Yeah, I went into the military. I did 5 years. I saw things. I got out. I was going to college, but I was still very like naive. And but I saw right through that dude, and I tried dropping like, you know, hints to my mom every so often, like, don't you think it's weird that like you're bending over backward for this asshole who treats you like shit? It makes comments about like women having their place and da 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 da. I don't know. It was very weird. I don't think I fully understand what that whole dynamic was like because I don't talk to my mom anymore, and so I didn't get to hear, other relevant information. But anyways, so something happened, I don't know, and this dude became nicer, and I thought it was weird. I was like, why are you nice all of a sudden? Like, why does it seem like you like women? And like, what is this? Like, fucking weird. But I was like, okay, I guess I'll roll with it and take him at his word. And it was just this weird turnaround. He was nicer all of a sudden and like this different person, and it didn't seem like I could pinpoint anything that was making him act this way. So him and I got closer, and I was like, okay, I guess people can change. And it came time for me to graduate from my 2 year college. I didn't want to go to the graduation. I hate that shit. I only went because my mom was like, I really want to watch you graduate, please. And so that's why I did it. And so I had 3 tickets, and my parents each got one, and I had one left. And I remember like bringing it up in front of my grandpa, and he was like, "Well, I would love to go if you would give me that ticket." And this dude never left his house. He never did shit for anybody, and he never said things like, "I would like to go to your graduation." So my mouth dropped open, and I was like, "Wow. Okay. If this dude's willing to leave his house like to go to my graduation and I don't even want to be there, like, it was like a whole big thing. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I'm trying my best to explain. Sorry if this sounds weird, but hopefully you're following along. I was just like, wow, this guy's really like become a nicer person. He wants to do things now. And I do believe people deserve second chances. So, I got really excited about it, and it was all we talked about behind his back. Like, can you believe he's going? Like, oh my God, like, no, like this dude, he was not agoraphobic. He just didn't like to leave. He was just stuck in his ways. He didn't drive, very far. just really ornery, did very little with his days. So the day of the graduation comes, and I'm out there with a friend, and we have our gowns on, and we're like, oh my God, we're getting ready to have our graduation. And I was actually excited about it only because he was going. Like, great, my parents were going, like, oh, whoop de doo. I don't fucking care. But the fact that that dude was going, right? And so we're standing outside of our apartment building, and he opens up the door and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be going today. Sorry," or something like that. It was something along those lines, and just kind of gave me a wave and then went back inside. And we all just like kind of stood there frozen because we were waiting on him. That's why we were waiting outside, is we were waiting for the motherfucker to get out there to get into the car so we could all leave. And like that's what he did. And there was never a good reason for it. Um, I asked him and I would just get like ignored or like shrugged off or like, ah, it was just, I didn't feel like it. And it just, that wasn't good enough for me. And I don't know, like, that's for some reason, like, that's what did it for me. Like, I was just over that dude. And I never talked to him again after that. I never went to any more of those weird fucking dinners with him and my parents. Never did that again. And a couple years goes by, he would ask after me and like, mention to my mom, like, hey, tell her to come by for a visit. He knew I didn't want to talk to him and he knew why. And I never did. I was just done. I was like, fuck you. Um, and in my early 20 something mind, like, well, no, at that point, I think I was like mid 20s. Um, I was just like, fuck you, dude. Like I was so disappointed. I was so hurt. That was just the decision that I made and I never regretted it. And after a couple years, he got really sick. He ended up in the hospital and they were like, he's probably going to die overnight. And my mom was sitting at his bedside and he asked her to call me to see if I would come visit. And one of the only times in my life that my mom was actually decent to me, she didn't ever question. It's like she understood why I just was done with him and never made me feel bad about it, never like questioned like it was strange. The few times in my life that I felt accepted by her were in moments like that. Where, hey, you probably should have mentioned something about that. Like that wasn't really I don't think that was a normal response I should have had, but it's one that I did. And it's one that she accepted. And so she called me and I remember that conversation and I was like, no, like I'm not going down there. Thanks for calling me, but like I'm not going down there. And you can feel free to call me after he's passed and, we'll chat. And it was as simple as that. And I don't feel bad about it to this day. So, weird. And probably not at all related, these two people, but like it just made me think of him after I heard about like this dude. And it's just like, I mean, if at the end of the day, I guess like if I have to think about my grandpa, I don't know what the point of him was. He was miserable. Like he didn't go out of his way to piss anybody off. Like he wasn't like that. He just wasn't nice to people. Didn't do things for them, didn't like to listen to their stories, didn't like to do anything that wasn't something that he was interested in. And just had very narrow kind of like limiting beliefs in my opinion. But so I don't know what this episode was, but I feel better that I got that out and I hope it's relatable. And if you've got anybody in your life that you feel this way about, or have felt this way about, I don't think that means that we're shitty people because I have judged myself for this. Like, man, I do value life even though it doesn't sound like it in this moment. And I feel like I'm so hypocritical sometimes. I say one thing and then like, but I believe this, and I don't know. I think it kind of makes sense to autistic minds like yours, I hope. So, so that's all I got on here to say. And thanks for listening and goodbye.